Welcome to Take 6 of Downtown Variety. I'm your host, Mattie Barber-Bockelman, or Mattie BB for short. And I'm here, in the control room, in our many control rooms, ready to bring this live performance to you wherever it may find you. This is MaMa and CultureHub's grand new experiment, exploring what we can do with our emerging technology, our technologists, and our radical community of performers all around the globe. And we will go all around the globe tonight for the first time in this little series. We have only 2 performers coming at you from New York City. 4 of them are in different areas of the globe and the world. And we're using LiveLab to make that happen. And LiveLab is an experimental software that CultureHub has been developing for the past almost 5 years for networked collaboration between artists, audiences, and technologists. Through this audio, video, data routing software, we're going to go to 6 different artists in 6 different spaces with video art that might feel a little bit like home. And tonight, going through the tech rehearsal, it really feels like these artists are responding to the spaces they are in right now, building new works specifically for this platform to push it and see how far we can go. They're reimagining, taking us to another kind of existence, another kind of reality. So yeah, this Downtown Variety, this is where you come for something different. This is where you come to see someone who you don't know, or someone who is different from you, or maybe you're here to see somebody that you know so well and miss so bad. And it might hurt, but I feel really lucky to be here and be here in this room, in your room, and in all of our rooms. So this is the space that MaMa created back in the 60s and 70s and is still evolving. It's the space that CultureHub was born into. And we're not going anywhere. So yeah, I feel really grateful. I'm here, you're here. And if you are just scrolling by and pausing for a second on this video, let me just say, hey, stay for a while. You might just stumble into a room that you didn't quite expect. Maybe it'll be something special. So I'll be here, literally here all night and all day and all night and all day for like a long time. So let's go somewhere else. We're gonna start with our very own McSoups. MX, take us there. Wow, what a way to start us off and take us somewhere else. Man, so that was Mix Soups, or as they're more favorably known, MX at times. And MX was a resident artist with CultureHub 2018 to 2019. And we shot an Undefined Spaces video with MX in this beautiful space that we were all just brought to. And wow, it's really lovely to be back here with the sweet sounds of water and prayer. MX, you there?
I sure am.
Just setting up the secondary lighting situation as it is.
It's getting my...
Oh wait, can I hear MX?
Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Lovely.
Oh my God. You want to do a photo shoot?
We're here.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you said you were experimenting. I mean, this fashion is not a new experiment, right? This costume and these projections. Tell us about what you had here.
Yeah, this is a kind of remix of Plasma, a show that I was developing while I was in residence at CultureHub and that premiered at Dixon Place. But the material, all of that nature imagery is stuff that I shot in Guyana and Trinidad, traveling. And it's really about reconnecting to nature. That's why I have all these flowers on and feathers. So the piece was so much about kind of reconnecting something about my humanity and our humanity back into nature so that we can ground there.
Mm. And we had the water at the beginning and at the end, and you were saying what were the words and the vocalization that you were doing?
Yeah, that is a Sanskrit mantra that is an excerpt from the Upanishads, mantra Pushpam, and it's honoring water as the source of creation. Water being a metaphor for many things, but at least one of them being the flow of our experience. So kind of like no matter what is happening, no matter what we're going through, it is all part of this flow of experience. It is all part of this one flow that we're in. So I just wanted to invoke that in this moment of a rather difficult spot in the flow.
Yeah. I mean, I know personally that you have like this super strong, deep daily practice of yoga and these bowls and mantra. And how has it been changing for you being quarantined? Has the practice shifted for you?
Well, I think because of my practice and training with meditation and yoga, I've over the years had moments of going away, for example, for a month to really focus on practice, which I
Mm,
am grateful to be able to do. But I've also put a lot of my resource into that. So, in one way, I'm familiar with a lot of alone time.
mm,
But usually, it's accompanied by the intention to have been there in the first place. So now it feels much more like, okay, how do I till this garden? How do I create some purpose in a space that I didn't necessarily choose?
right.
So it has been a call to try to go deeper into my practice, but also to go the other way, to share the work. So, for
Mm,
example, I had a series of 6 albums of guided meditations that I recorded a few years ago about a process of meditating with crystals, using them as a meditation object to learn how to transform our consciousness in various ways. And I thought, they've never been released. Now is the moment. I need to put them out into the world. So this has been a lot of actually sharing work that I haven't otherwise shared. So actually, anyone listening can go to healingsoundmeditation.com, healingsoundmeditation.com, and you can download the first album for free. If you add it to your cart, it's $0. So that's your
I'm
little
gonna do that.
for today,
That's amazing.
because that's the only way we're gonna make it through this, right? Just sharing and sharing resource however we can.
Totally. Yeah, and like sharing your lipstick if you would. I mean, what is that? Gorgeous.
It's a combination of things. It's a CoverGirl melting point.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you a DM.
Perfect.
Mhm.
You're always a mix of an innumerable amount of things, and I think that's, you have an endless well inside of you, and that's lovely that you share it with us.
I'm honored to have the opportunity. It's been really always a pleasure to work with you.
All right, MX. Love to you.
Looking
What's
forward to
the
the
next?
rest of the show. Here we go.
Here we go, and away we go, and away we go. First video of the night is pretty special. We have video art on tonight by our very own Yarie Vazquez, who was the lead technician at CultureHub for a number of years and an eternal friend and collaborator. And she was also the lead technician on Panorama, which is having a little reunion tonight here on Downtown Variety, Take 6 of sorts. So her video art will be featured throughout the evening, 3 short pieces. And they have a couple of other stunning collaborators featured in them. So the first is called Bodega, and that is up next.
Turkey bacon, egg, y mozzarella cheese con aguacate en un rolo, por favor.
Yeah, but it's going to be
strong enough to join our minds and body. Hey you,
Hey,
you're in Berlin, right?
yes, and you're in France?
Yes. It's 3 a.m. I feel a bit lonely here. I mean, I don't want to complain. The situation here is getting better. But I think it's very different in New York, no? I don't know exactly how it is there. Maybe we should ask. I mean, we're supposed to have an audience right now, but it's a bit hard to tell. It's hard to feel connected with them through this little dark hole in my computer.
Do you think someone's even watching us?
I don't know.
What are they thinking about? What are they feeling?
Mm.
Maybe one of them has lost a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe another one can't pay the rent.
Yeah. And maybe there is this guy. I imagine he's in a very small flat in New York, in Washington Heights, watching La Mama's Downtown Variety. He's a dancer, and I imagine him asking himself, how can I feel my own limits, the contours of my body without being touched by someone else? And then he asks, can you still dance without dancing to shape the vacant space between you and another body?
Me, I can see a music teacher. Can you see him?
Yeah.
He's staring at the screen.
Mm.
He's craving to teach his students the perfect drum beat in real life. One can only teach some things in front of their students. He's thinking, they need to be here in order to understand the mechanics of my movements.
And I see another one. She's watching us from France. And this one doesn't feel lonely at all. She just came back from work. She was told that she had to keep on working, but she doesn't really understand why. I mean, she doesn't produce anything vital for the country, so she's a bit lost with that idea. She spent her day with a lot of people around her, and for the first time in her life, she experienced the presence of others as a threat.
I must say though, I'm actually enjoying this time because it allows me to write and play music alone without any pressure, for absolutely nothing, without goals, just for the sake of doing.
Yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe we could stop having certainty for a while. Maybe it could lead us to take actions, as you said, for nothing, with no goals, just for the sake of it.
We still have, ahead of us, a few nights, a few empty spaces, or a few blank pages we can fill with our creative strength.
We have to take care of our health and the future of our economy.
But let's talk also about ecology.
Let's talk about social rights. Let's talk about equality of rights.
Now that we have an opportunity to stop and think, let us play and invent new rules for the game.
The ones in place have been proved wrong enough.
Let us now use our extended web of friendship. It may be strong enough to join our minds and body in spite of the distancing rules we now have to accept.
Let's imagine the shape of new channels between us that lead us to ways of living we don't yet know.
Let's not have any expectation for the progress of our days.
We don't have any reason to have some, but let's have faith. Faith in our senses and our abilities. Faith in the links that connect one to another. Faith, just for the sake of it.
Just one to another. Faith, just for the sake of it.
Pour la beauté du geste.
Solo per la bellezza del gesto.
Emuna, Raklashenze.
Vertrauen, einfach dem Vertrauen wegen.
Faith, just for the sake.
Lola and everybody. Oh my God. Oh, unmute your, yay. Wow.
Hey.
Hey. Where are you?
I'm in Lyon. Hey, you. In France.
Hey.
Oh, sorry. I'm Turkish. Yeah. In France.
Wow. It looks like you're in Greece.
Yeah. Because of the building. It's connected to the performance that comes after me.
Wow. What is it like there? What's the sort of like it's 3 a.m. right now, right?
Yeah.
Is anybody out?
I mean, it's Ramadan, so they're like each other are drinking tea, but at the moment, and we're allowed to go out, but we're gonna.
And who's everybody who is with you?
Actually, now I live with my. I got stuck here because I came for the weekend and couldn't come back home in Switzerland. So now I'm living with my parents. So before in the province, and there was also my brother and some friends from here.
So stunning.
Yeah.
And then what were we hearing?
Hmm?
What were we hearing? The soundtrack.
I can't hear you well.
Yeah. What were we hearing?
It's from it's composed by Martin Perret, who is a Swiss musician and composer based in Switzerland and Berlin also. And we wrote a dialogue between us two by emails, and that's what you heard. And also the voices of many friends of ours. There was Christian Turner, also Anna von Bree, Tamara Bacci, Valeria Bertolotto, Enrico Casagrande, Daniela Nicolo from Motus. Some of you may know them, I think. Guillaume Drouet from Belgium, Roman Hubin, Salou Sadras, and also my brother, Matteo Giouse.
Yeah, and you sort of texted me an accidental response to Martin's soundtrack earlier on WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Motus, and then you also were, so you worked on Panorama as it toured, right? And then it's kind of crazy because you were also in Camera Obscura with Poogene, who will be on the show later. And Camera Obscura is written by Bob Patrick, who was on the show last week.
Yeah,
so
it's a great companionship with La Mama since I came there for the first time with Motus for the show Panorama that we created there, and I've been amazed when I entered this building and met so many. I mean, it's my new American freak family, and I met so many people I love since I've been loving since yeah.
Man, it's so good to see you and have you on this show, and all the way from Lyon, France, where it is 3 in the morning, and Lola's lighting up flares in the middle of the city. Pretty rad, pretty freaking cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing to see you, Lola, and all your family.
I guess I should leave now because we just did it this performance just in front of the police station and also under the security camera. So I think I have to leave now because I'm not really allowed to be here right now.
That would be the time.
Thank you for inviting me. It was really a pleasure to work on that with all my friends. So it was great.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Wow, that was France at 3 in the morning. All right, so now we are going to the other side of the United States, to California, where we have Peter Mark performing from Los Angeles. So up next is Peter Mark. Can go back to me. Oh, we just lost Peter's feed. Oh, but he's back. So let me just, should we change it? Coolio. So we just lost Peter. We just got Peter back. And now Peter is fixing his resolution. But maybe now is a cool time.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, Peter says he's ready, but one sec. Yeah, we're trying to create art. We're trying to create experiences that go beyond what we're used to. Not that we're used to anything in this crazy time, but if you want to support this work and help us, we would deeply appreciate it. And at La Mama, you can go to lamama.org/donate to help, or you can text La Mama Live to 44321 to donate. And that's the truth, Ruth. Deandra, should we, or we waiting? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Yeah.
Andre get in a wool cap. Great Britain recently returned from New York. Henry Michaud, Jean-Paul Hain, and a crowd of prominent actors and directors. They have all come to hear a one-man lecture by Artaud. Artaud comes on stage alone. Dressed like a clockard, He looks emaciated and a little startled. When he starts reading from the pile of papers, his voice yet undeniably powerful. There is some heckling, then a tight silence. Artaud declaims, whispers, roars, and comes to an awkward pause. He seems to his place or his nerve, shuffles his papers, takes his head in his hands, as if he were giving up. Yet he starts again. Now he is not reading, but haranguing the audience. Syphilis, piss, electroshock. He stops to catch his breath, then reads again. It is not the mind that has created things, but a body which got along in debauchery with its prick crammed up its nose. Claver striva caver tavina scaver combina okar tree of the denunciation of language, of sex, of himself goes on and on. Lunatic beyond recall, yet he remains an actor, a painful ham, clowning, mocking himself, spouting his outrage and conscious of force with the audience at bay in front of him. He is watching the combustion of his own mind. He wants to drop not words but bombs. There is no end to it, no stop. Until he stage and throws his arms around the exhausted performer. From this dream you cannot awake, for it is history, Artaud's performance, tete-a-tete, at the View Columbia Theater in January 1947. He died 14 months later. In the 60s, Artaud became an even more powerful presence than he had been in 1947, and the characters of Paris. His cultural eclecticism had been astute and prophetic. He had concocted a magic amalgam of theatrical style, occult and esoteric knowledge, literary pronouncements, drug cultism, and revolutionary rhetoric without politics. Naturally, the theater felt his impact first. In his collection of manifestos, The Theater and Its Double,
Tô com saudade dos meus pais.
English
Eu tô com saudade dos meus pais.
1958.
Eu tenho saudade dos meus pais. Eu tô com saudade dos meus pais. Tô com muita saudade.
And subservient to the literary
Eu tô com muita saudade dos meus pais.
Agent of cultural and emotional change as a plague.
Eu tô com muita saudade dos meus pais.
Hunger during the 50s.
Eu tô com muita pais. Eu tô com muito.
Ideas traveled fast. They played a key role in the articulation of the anti-aesthetic mode ultimately named The Happening.
Toca la clave, suena el bongo, hazme un tumbao que el ritmo lo pongo yo. Vamos a tocar soneros, toquemos de corazón. Y en este bonito día vamos a hacer un rumbo. Y si del alma brota letra, armonía y sazón, son estos los ingredientes para componer un son. Oye, ya que la fiesta está buena, buena, se juntaron los soneros. Vamos a tocar un son que lo escuche el mundo entero, que no me falle la clave. Mientras que rompa un tumbao y el bongón que se destaque, que no me quedo callado. Toca la clave, suena el bongo, hazme un tumbao, que lo demás lo pongo yo. Vaya trompeta. Toca la clave, suena el bongo, hazme un tumbao, que lo demás lo pongo yo.
Mother, fucker, maker, faker. Take her, break her. Tame her, blame her. She waits like Diana at her bath, awaiting Actaeon's glance. Shadow of Eros and Thanatos, awaiting for your desire to conspire until you actually perspire. Transformed from hunter, hunting huntress, to stag hounded by your own demons. Gorgon lover, look at me! Slay. Shed skin, leave in. Grieve and grieve and grieve. Leave skin, snake kin. Bereave, retrieve, believe her. Wake the snakes. She waits. Sea waits. I wait. Why wait? Entrap them at your own ensnarement. How foolish to think your eyes should contain a goddess, could bear the unendurable aspect of infinite idols. Visual capture does not proffer physical rapture. To behold is not to be holding. But look, do you see her? Tell me, do you see her? I see a survivor. What? Keep on surviving. I'm a survivor. She's a survivor. What? Steal a glance. Take a look. Feast your eyes. There she lies. What a spread. It's okay, Gorgon lover. For you, I'd lose my head.
Maura and family. Holy freaking. Oh my God. Here she is, Miss Medusa. Holy crap. I'm just thinking, like, what will, you know, like what I did on my spring quarantine. What's up, Maura?
Hey, Mattie.
Hey. You're glowing.
What? I'm glowing.
Or maybe that's just the Orby womb behind you that's glowing. that you departed into?
Yeah. Just returned from the abyss.
Oh, nice. How was it?
It was great.
Amazing time in the abyss. Holy crap. So you did so much here. What is,
I know.
Where are you? What are you doing? Who's there?
So I'm in a basement, and we're in Rhode Island. This is actually, I grew up in this state, and so I wanted to get closer to my parents once things started to get a little scary, and the kids didn't have school. So we packed up the car and came out here, and I just happened to have all of this with me. Well, some of it. Others, some of the stuff while we were here, our beloved June Maida passed away. Maida-san passed away, who was an amazing artist and resident artist of La MaMa and the scenic designer. And one of my sons, Jet, who was on the very first Downtown Variety playing guitar, he and I used to go to Maida's workshop in the basement, and we would cut
can you show a picture of that? I think we have.
So yeah, that's us. That was actually maybe how it started. That was a La MaMa block party street fair, and there's Eugene the poogene, who's up next, I think, and Maida and my two kids. And what he would do is take these cans, and he would cut them into these really fine ribbons. This is not a very fine ribbon, but you want to come on screen too?
Hello. Hey.
So, this is Jet. Jet and I would go to Maida's workshop, and on Tuesday afternoons after school, and we would practice this technique with him. And I was never as good at it as Jet and Maida-san were, but it was a practice actually that I kept up. And so whenever I see cans, I have the urge to sort of turn them into strings. And so when he passed away, I started to make a little homage to him, and decided that Medusa would also have some reclaimed cans in her hair.
I think he would.
Yeah, just like wanted to honor him. He always really amazed me with his ingenuity, and he would take these ribbons and then build the most beautiful phoenix or other like finely crafted things. Yeah, that's his workshop. So you can see all of those ribbons. That's all just cans he had collected everywhere, and we would do it, every week and not end up with any cuts. He had a really specific technique for it, and so that's me, and that's Jet in there, and actually he's sitting next to Priscilla Smith, who's one of the original members of the Great Jones Repertory Company. So many fond memories in that basement, and now I'm trying to carry a tiny bit of his legacy and honor him in this basement.
Yeah. I'm still right next to you in my heart. Okay, yeah, there I am. Yeah, beautiful. I mean, I feel like when people pass on, some of like the final interactions that you have with them start to mean a lot more. But in the middle of March, CultureHub was working on our festival, Refest, and we had to carry like an insane amount of stuff over to La MaMa from Great Jones. And so there was one day that we were doing that, loading up a van, and just 5 of us running in and out and in and out. And Maida came by and was going to his workshop, I think, and he noticed that we were working and bringing stuff outside, and then so he just stood and held the door for us, and we were like, okay, thank you, yeah, please go ahead, like it's okay. And even when we weren't going, but he just like stayed there holding the door for us forever. And at one point, Billy was like, you know what? I think he's just happy to see the kids doing something, building things out of wood.
Definitely.
So
absolutely, he used to be so happy. I mean, he's so happy. I mean, he would always ask like where my kid was when he saw me at the theater afterwards, because I think it meant I think it was a really beautiful thing, and I wanted even then, that was maybe about 4 years ago, or maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I felt like Maida-san was a real master and a genius. But he would construct things without a single nail, and I felt like it was very important that the next generation at least have a moment with him and kind of recognize that specific ingenuity, because I didn't think it would last for so long. And so I'm sorry that we lost him and we never got to get back to do more of that. So I could become a better craftsperson, because he used to see my creations and then he would just go, "Oh, artistic." Which just explains like all weird things, I guess. Thus. So.
Well, love you, love your family.
Thank you so much. Yes, and thank you. We were very Sasa, and I got to sort of like reclaim our ground after the very first one with
yeah, because we had Sasa on the electronic MIDI controller music. All that music was Sasa.
Yeah. So
amazing.
Thanks, Maddie.
All right, all of you and your all three of your camera feeds can refresh out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maura. All right, next up, we have the one, the only, directed by Zishan Ugurlu, from the other side of the country, Eugene, the poogene.
I feel trapped, like I'm boxed in. All my troubles, and I can barely move. I'd only been on this planet for 5 years. When on the first day of school, they put all us kids in a circle and asked us what we wanted to be when we grew up. I wanted to be a hummingbird, and I kept that a secret. I don't exactly remember what I said that day, but I enjoyed school and excelled at it. And before long, I was molded into the ideal student with the hope of one day having the privilege of becoming an essential cog in the essential, well-oiled machine. So at the conclusion of my youth, I ended my studies and set out to take on the world. Charmed, I immediately landed a job, whereupon I was put in a box. Now they told me if I was good and did what I was told, I would only have to be in here for 45 short years before I could truly be free and fly away. Like a hummingbird. Fair enough. So I've been obedient, clocking in about 60 hours a week, and it ain't going exactly how I imagined, but as with everything, you get used to it. And eventually devoting 60 hours a week, the majority of my waking hours, just becomes an accepted fact of life. And besides, I look around and the entire herd of sensible people seem to be on board. And these people, they love me. They give me 2 weeks off a year and the pay is more than adequate. Free Diet Coke and Cliff Bars, I ain't complaining. Life is good. And then suddenly, the entire planet fucking comes to a stop. And everyone's got to get off. Things get very, very real. In the exact same moment that everything becomes so surreal. It's as if my entire world flips on its head and yet looks more truthful to me than ever before. I mean, being cooped up in here and every day, there is no time or space to question what it is I'm doing. I mean, after all, I'm just typing some numbers onto a screen, But now, thrown into isolation and forced to self-reflect, I look down at myself and as if suspended from above, like a fucking hummingbird. For the first time in my life, I ask, what the fuck am I doing? I mean, I don't remember what I wanted to be when I grew up, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I wasn't making spreadsheets for pharmaceutical companies. And so I quit. Where I can no longer contribute to a system I believe is toxic. Yeah. I threw out my common sense to make room for what little courage I got, and I became the hummingbird. And as I look around, I realize that this endeavor is not for the sheepish, especially when every other sheep in the herd are in there. Because you see, the system lays out this nicely manicured path that allegedly leads to these lush pastures in the sunset. But the path of your heart, there ain't no fucking signs. I mean, there ain't no offering. In fact, there is no road at all. You gotta cut through the thicket and forge your own path. And as you look out into the infinite horizon, there ain't no sunset. All you can make out is this vast expanse of uncertainty. Even more discouraging, I look at my artist friends, my heroes, grow old and broke and hungry, and it's all because they had the courage to not conform from the beginning. Oh, but if you are a good sheep and play by the rules, the system will provide you with stability, security, structure, right? That'll just cost you your fucking life. As I step back and look at all these different versions of myself, I actually seemed happier in the system. Because I mean, I wasn't really losing any sleep over some stupid spreadsheet. But when you get naked and bare your soul to the world, it is impossible to walk around so lighthearted when everything is so meaningful. And now that I see it, I cannot unsee it. I mean, I would never go back and trade meaning for blind happiness. So maybe the meaning of life isn't happiness. Maybe the meaning of life is just the meaning. Now, it's very important for me to add that I was a part of it. For 25 years, I worked for the system, so I am in no position to judge any of the people in it. I mean, these are some of the most beautiful, honest, hardworking souls I have ever met. You know, who can really fault someone for wanting to live and die in more material comfort than the artist? Look, I don't hate the player. I hate the motherfucking game. And besides, one can't exist entirely outside the system. I mean, I ain't about to live in the forest and make my own water. We are all complicit. It's impossible to completely wash our hands on it. So, now, here I am before you, today, right now. And as we wait for the day when things can return to normal, to the way things were, I don't want to go back to that normal. Even more than herd immunity, I am looking for immunity from this herd. You heard, hummingbird? I want to fly from flower to flower and freeze to admire her beauty before I thrust my beak into her bloom and get drunk off the nectar of life. I want to evolve with nature, not against it. I want to soar as high as my wings can take me and just let go and surrender myself to wherever the wind may take me. And yes, it's scary. And it is scary as fuck to leave what's comfortable. But what should terrify us to the very core of our existence is being at the end of our lives without having lived any of it. And what are we really doing? There is no next life. This is our one life, our one wild and precious life, and it can be more than beautiful. It can be ours. I miss the world. I miss New York. I miss La Mama. And I miss you.
I miss you, Pooh.
Ugh.
Yo, get your neck pillow out.
Holy shit. Okay, dude. Hey, Mattie B.
Hey,
Z.
Pooh. Hey, Z, let's get Z in here too. Hey, Pooh. What a sunny day.
I'm gonna put my shirt on. I don't want to drop half the audience.
I know, that wouldn't be good. Hey, Z.
Is he up?
Yeah.
Hey, Z.
Yeah, Z, you're on. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hey.
Z.
So that was a performance by Pooh and directed by Zishan, right?
Hi.
Yeah. So, Eugene the Poogene, what was it like writing that?
Sorry, what was that?
What was it like writing that?
Oh, our lighting director is Helios. It's the sun. I had to position this exactly at like 5:40 to hit this, but and it was a little off today. But I'll talk to him.
I said writing.
Oh, writing. Yeah, I've been a host about writing more than writing. What's that?
It was a good joke anyway.
Okay, thank you.
What was it like to write that?
Well, I guess I started writing it for, kind of like when I was actually kind of leaving corporate about 4 years ago. But it was never super tight until we kind of like changed it up to kind of make it more kind of now, But it was crazy writing. It was torturous. We wrote it in like the last 2 weeks, and I just couldn't stop writing it. We had to call it. It was crazy.
And you keep on saying we, so that means that this was like a in-process collaboration. Tell me about that.
Well, the writing part was, Z had help. I had like other friends that kind of helped. So it's, just for like moral support. But the rehearsal process was great because, even though we're all kind of alone, it was great to have Zishan, because otherwise I would have been a super ham for like 40 minutes. But she came on, kind of reined it in, just, made it tighter. And it's also wonderful to be actually working with someone, and that's great.
Yeah. I'll be lost without other people right now. Z, what was it like to direct in this form? I mean, you're a theater maven, director, that's your life. What's it like to come into this sort of a space?
Well, it's interesting because I think in the time of crisis, we are all craving for connection. So when we decided to do that, I was very excited because it's just like connection to share your work and moment of creativity. It's so exciting. Mm-hmm. And then of course, Eugene is extremely fun to work with. And we have 3 hours difference. So there are so many hours of like scheduling and working on what is the best time to catch the perfect light that we would like to see. I mean, of course, we all believe that the spectator and the performer creates magic, when they share the physical space. It is like there's a magic sharing the physical space. And we all believe in that, and it is true. But also, while I was watching Downtown Varieties, I was so excited about so many moments. There are so many magical moments. I was like, this is great. We are still finding as an artist not to stop. And like our pieces is just Hummingbird. Name of is Hummingbird. And we are like a hummingbird. We are flying forward constantly and we are walking backward. Like we are sustaining in the air most of the time. And we are looking at the things different way and bird eye view. This is just, I think, that very strong desire to connect. And while we are working in the process, of course, it's not the same thing. We are in the room, same thing, but we were discovering other things, like we were discovering the qualities or the traits of the camera, the close-ups, and paying attention to space. Like there are magic moments were happening. We discovered while he was walking to the other room, we discovered the mirror, we discovered the infinite images, we discovered so many different things. I think creative process, even online, it's pretty much similar to the when we are in the physical space. We have to do the research, we have to discuss the dramaturgy, we have to look at the space, we have to transform the space. So yeah, that was extremely fun, but there are difficulties, technical difficulties. But I am so happy because La Mama is doing that. I mean, La Mama was doing this last 10 years. I recently heard one of those Zoom meetings that I think Schechner said that everyone should share the performances now through streaming. And I was like, oh, La Mama was doing that 10 years since like almost 10 years now. So the La Mama's vision just entering this world was not new at all. I did so many online courses through Korea and here. It was wonderful to have this process and the opportunity to share the creativity and to meet with the audience this way.
Yeah, it's totally about chasing the magic, because there's like one moment and you're like, oh, wow. Yeah, there's something there.
Right. And also, I don't know if Eugene wants to say that. I mean, this is very much to also dedicated to Maida. He inspired us in so many different levels as an artist. So while we were creating that, he was always in our mind.
It's beautiful work, and it's so exciting to share it with you, even if it's kind of unclear where we're going with it. So, Pooh and Z, love
Thank you,
you.
BB Queen. Thank you so much. It was fun. Thank you, Z. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, La Mama. Thank you, La Mama forever. Freaks for life.
Thank you.
La Mama forever. Bye.
Love you. Alrighty, we've got one more short film by Yarie Vazquez, our beloved, and then we've got a final performance for you all by Rue Bainbridge. So yeah, up next is the final work by Yarie Vazquez.
go, Griffin.
Okay.
In former times, if I remember rightly, my life was a feast at which all hearts opened up, at which all wines flowed. I ended up considering my mental disorder sacred. I was idle, the prey of a severe fever. I envied the bliss of dumb creatures, caterpillars, that represent the innocence of limbo, and mold, the sleep of virginity. My nature became embittered. Farewell to the world in some kind of song. My hunger turn, grave hunger. On the meadow of sound. Devour the flintstones! Crush the ancient stones of churches.
Time you are. Scattered. In gray valleys. I loved the
Wilderness.
parched outdoors. Faded shops. Tepid drinks. I would
Oxidize the gargoyles. Fill the boudoirs with the burning powders of rubies.
Very well said, Rue Bainbridge. Thank you. Man, we've been to some different realms tonight. If you want to support the work we're doing, it would be very appreciated. You can go to lamama.org /donate, or you can go to LaMama Live, text LaMama Live to 44321. Yeah, so this is a hard time, but we're coming together in all of our unique ways, and artists are collaborating, and you're here, and that's so amazing to have an audience in this moment that's willing to go along with us for these journeys that are not quite certain and not we just don't know what we can do here yet. So thank you for being with us while we try. We're going to try one more thing tonight. Well, tomorrow, first of all, we have a live collaboration with NYU's Interactive Telecommunications Program. Adjacent is their journal. And tomorrow they have this performance sprint that is sort of inspired by a hackathon. A bunch of people are going to be creating performances in LiveLab, and they'll be live streamed at night. So sort of like 24-hour play festival meets a hackathon. And the prompt is Energy Vampire. In anticipation of the next Adjacent issue's theme, feelings, we want to confront the drain and acknowledge the vacuum of energy we're all experiencing. We are leaning into constraint and exploring the void as a place of creation. The nonsense is a place to make sense. Energy vampires have feelings too. Your feelings. So that's pretty cool. So we can watch that tomorrow at 7:30 on the CultureHub page. And tonight, we're not brushing elbows in the lobby like we normally do after a show. So we are going to have an after party. And you can join us in Mozilla Hubs. The room is, well, it'll come on the screen later. Don't worry. And we'll post it in the comments. But it's room 345983. And we'll have a live DJ set by CultureHub resident artist Adi Malenciano. So performers from tomorrow night will be there. Performers from tonight will be there. We'll all be jamming out. So please try to join us. This is a new experiment that we're doing. As always, I'm grateful to be here, and I'm so glad that you're here with me. I'm Mattie Barber-Bockelman, and we will be back next week. So thanks so much for being here. See you at the after party. I already said it.